Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch a Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grim Show. I am the Dude.
And I am Grim, and we are very thrilled this evening to be evening. I guess it depends on when you listen. To be discussing St. Vincent's 2014 self-titled album, St. Vincent. Ooh. As you can see. I love the cover.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it is. I had not heard, I had heard of St. Vincent. Can't say that I listened to her a great deal prior to hearing this album, but one night on a date night, my wife Lisa picked this one up when we both went to the record store, and I hadn't heard it before. So we went home and put it on, and I was kind of just like, the first track is Rattlesnake, which just... I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, how is this the first time I'm hearing this?
Weren't expecting that.
No, it was awesome. Yeah. And I've really liked the album ever since. And that had to be 4 years ago.
Nice. No, that is pretty cool. I think, Grim, before we get too far into this episode, we want to go ahead and remind people to like, subscribe, and comment below.
Please do.
And let us know when we get to the end. I'm sure, everybody knows what this podcast is about at this point. So please let us know your scratch. I think you should.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Do we want to cover it again? I noticed on the last one you cut me off.
On this one,
we'll
yeah. You kind of went on.
That's all right. It happens.
Yeah. It should have been on the Tighten Up episode, right? Because I could have just been like, dude, hey, tighten it up.
Dude, tighten up on that bass. Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude. First, right off the bat, I find it interesting that St. Vincent's self-titled album it's not her first album. So many artists, it's
their
kind of like a thing. But she's like, no, I'm just going to throw it kind of in the middle. It's going to be my fourth?
Fifth, dude.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, I thought it was fourth.
Yeah.
1, 2,
well,
3,
I guess
4,
if you count Love This Giant with David Byrne, which if you look at her discography, they do count that as one. So you're right. If you're talking just her, no collaborations, number 4.
Yeah. And dude, it's pretty impressive. I mean, she plays a whole multitude of instruments on this album.
Yeah.
I think it's vocals, guitar, bass, keyboards, percussion. At least if not on this album, then
in general
throughout her career. So it's pretty impressive. But so wait, what? This came out in 2014, and dude, to be honest, maybe I just was sick that day or year or something, but I didn't hear a whole lot about it when it came out. But some other people did. And I think it was The Guardian, Entertainment Weekly, Enemy, Slant, and Time Magazine all named it their album of the year. It won a Grammy in 2015 for Best Alternative Album.
Yeah.
And she was only the second artist to win that award.
Other than Sinead O'Connor, right?
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
Of course.
I didn't know that either. But man, I'm really glad because I feel like as much as in many ways I tend to maybe not have what I'd call the utmost respect for the Grammys as an institution based on some of the things that they've picked. This is like
got that one right.
Yeah, they got this one right. So kudos to you, Grammys.
Finally, jeez.
Oh, I know, and they probably even put the correct artist on there, not like the Black Eyed Peas when it's
with the Black Keys.
Yeah.
So she initially, I guess, recorded demos, it says, in Austin, and then she actually went to Dallas to record the album.
Yeah.
But it sounds like she did the demos herself just using GarageBand, and that's pretty cool that, now, I'm going to sound really old here. It's like, oh, we have the technology to do this.
Yeah.
But, back in the day, artists, it's like, oh, you're going to record a demo? Like, you got to, pay a shit ton of money for that. You're not just sitting in your living room and, you got your laptop and GarageBand and stick a mic up and, you can record it. And dude, I'd really like to hear those demos because I wonder how she did them.
I would really like to hear them too. Did it list what songs she had done or just said a handful of them?
I didn't see.
Because
Yeah.
there's
It just
certain
said-
songs in particular I would love to hear the demo versions of. Not that I wouldn't want to hear it to all of them, but I mean, certain ones just really grab me, I guess, more than others.
Sure. Yeah, it would be cool. And if anybody out there knows, like, if those demos are, I don't know, kind of available or they've been released, definitely let us know. I'd really like to check those out because I bet they're definitely an interesting sound.
Yeah, I would really like to hear those, especially because one of the things I wish I would have set it up and plugged it in, but I didn't. One of the things to note, I think, epic fail. Maybe that's a new sound effect.
It could be
1028.
Yeah. Mark it.
Is the heavy synth sound in the album.
Dude, thick as a brick, man.
And the thing is, not all of it is synth. A lot of it is you can hear her guitar. Like, for example, think of the opening track in Rattlesnake when she does her guitar solo, which is so just amazing and thick. It has a certain quality and certain thickness that is just not only a guitar.
Yeah, just talking about this album in general, and I'm not sure, again, I'm not as well versed in St. Vincent's discography, so I'm not sure if this is kind of a common thing that she does, or maybe this album is sort of an outlier. So if you know Grim, or if there's people out there who know,
I've listened
let us know
to some of her other stuff, and although some of that sound carries through, I don't think any bit of it was kind of as prevalent as it was like throughout this thing as a work.
Yeah.
And what I think it is, but I don't know, is if you can see this implement right here, it's called a freak box, and this is a pedal by Moog, and I've used it with guitar too. And what you can do is you can run anything through here, and it allows you to control an oscillator, which is if you want to say engine in the synth that like makes sound. So you can choose what kind of waveform. And the best part is for like, if I'm playing my guitar, there's a switch here called sync. And so what sync does is it'll automatically have the oscillator follow whatever note you're playing, instead of just be like, no matter what you play, it's the same note. Yeah. So it follows your notes. And so whatever it is,
I know.
Yeah, you can run your voice through this thing. I've ran guitar, keyboards, even a drum machine sounds amazing through it. But it basically allows you to kind of give things that synth quality that aren't synths, and like analog too, not digital crap. I mean, that's an analog oscillator in there,
right?
And it doesn't list that, but I get the sense that that's probably what she used for some of it.
No, that's very cool, man. Very cool. And that's why we have you on the show.
I mean, that thing, hopefully that stuff is some sort of return on investment, because right now I'm just in the fucking hole.
About 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah. And digging deeper. Yeah, well, and that's kind of why I asked the question, because there's just so many unique sounds on this album that you hear, they're either up front and very prevalent. There's a lot of things I hear going on in the background as well. And kind of in a way that I don't know if I've ever really heard. This album is very unique to me. I don't know if I've really ever heard anyone else, put something together like this, because, we were talking earlier offline a little bit about Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters, and because we were talking about how
the idea of doing
the demos on GarageBand,
yeah,
and how Fiona Apple did a lot of that on GarageBand, and we were just like, gosh, I don't know how I guess maybe you could, but the layers and just the quality and richness that this has, I don't know if that would come through.
Yeah, two such different albums, it would be a real feat to do some of the production work in GarageBand for this one that they did.
Right. Well, so she worked with this producer, John Congleton, I believe his name is.
Yeah, dude.
He was the front man for this alt rock band, The Paper Chase.
Yeah.
Dude, he's written music for Jackass, the Discovery Channel, Friday Night Lights, and several, get this, Halloween sound effects and music CDs.
Now I love that already. But I mean, I looked at, because I hadn't heard of him. I mean, I would like to feel like I'm someone who has sort of an ear to music and that stuff, but this made me feel like a real dip-S, because as I, read about this guy as a producer and looked up some of the bands that he's done, I mean, these are bands
who is this guy, man?
that I like. Black Angels are on the list. I mean, he did stuff for Blondie. Dude, Brian Wilson.
Sweet.
David Byrne, Budos Band. Dude, Buddy Miles is on the list.
Ooh.
Franz Ferdinand. I mean, I'm not going to just read every name that I like, but dude, I was just absolutely taken aback when I saw the list of people that he's worked with and thought, holy shit, like, dude, this guy is pretty awesome.
Hurt as the bomb, and he's got it going on.
Dude, if any of these other productions are even close to this one, I mean, you win. He wins.
Yeah. Well, what I read was that they basically recorded. This took 6 months to record, and they would record every day, only taking one day off every 10 to 12 days. That's a lot of work, man. That is pretty impressive for 6 months. Like, damn.
Yeah.
That's not much of a weekend.
No, it isn't. Well, and another thing that was kind of interesting is that it did say that this record featured some collaborations with Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, which are very much like neo soul. And there are times where I feel like I could maybe hear that in certain parts, but because it's not really credited, I have trouble really, really putting a finger on that and saying, okay, I know it was in this or I know it was in that.
Right. All right. I'm with you, my friend.
And since I was so on top of hearing about this album, I don't know, 7 years ago when it came out, I don't think it's really right for me to speculate at this point.
Yeah. Well, and even, I've probably only been listening to this now. Well, it's really been a couple of months. I'd say 2 to 3 months that I've really been just it's been in my rotation. And I'd be interested in, I'm not sure if you know this, but if people out there and fans out there, if you're new to St. Vincent, is this one that you start with, or do you kind of work your way up to it? Like, where do you go? Because also is, we just talked about, she just released a new album. So if you haven't seen that episode, and if we get our stuff done correctly, go back to our Monday episode where we discuss her new album. So
yeah.
I'll be interested to see how that album compares to this one.
Yeah. That's a really interesting question. Now, there's a lot of people. I know a good friend of ours, Leifer, was telling me that her earlier ones were. Yeah, exactly. Her earlier ones were where it was at. But I listened to them, and maybe it was because I had already listened to this, where they did not hold up to me. I mean, they were good, but it wasn't this was so next level in my opinion that it was hard to. And I was really into this at the time, so that probably didn't help either. But
so it's kind of like you listen to Kid A, and somebody was like, "Oh no, you got to check out Pablo Honey."
Yeah, and you were like, "Yeah, okay, cool. Well,
okay."
Once Blowout's over, what do I listen to then?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it is the last song, but
yeah. Oh. So, anyways, I will say I've listened to Masseduction several times. I think that one is also kind of in this vein, but it has it gets.
Is that before this one or after?
It's after. It would be the next one. It was 3 years after, and there's a couple songs that are a little soft and slow on there for me, but there is a lot of this kind of sound. And I will say I try not to do this if I know we're going to do a first impressions, but I did listen to her single Pay Your Way in Pain from Daddy's Home before the album came out, and I was like, God damn it, cousin, this song is hot.
Sweet. So
it is real hot, man. Like so thick.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Graham, since everyone is subscribed and commented below on what album we should, start with, or most users should start with, do you think it's time we get into the tracks here, my friend?
Yeah, I suppose it's as good a time as any to just talk about them a little bit here.
Yeah. Now, we got 11 of them. When I first downloaded it, of course,
there's like 80.
It's like the deluxe edition playing the Enormo Dome, and I just didn't know where the album stopped.
I kind of hate. I'm kind of getting sick of that.
Yeah,
because then when they remaster an album, it's like, oh, and here's 3 more discs of stuff that it'll just play too, because I can't just download the regular album anymore.
It's hard because part of me loves a lot of time all that extra stuff. Like, if you're gonna give me like live stuff and demos, just like, dude, that would have been cool. It's like, hey, maybe put some demos
for sure, but make it like a disc or something that's optional, so that if I download the album, for example, I don't have to. You know what I mean?
Now, I will say, when
it's my money and I want it now.
Exactly. On the sponsors, here we are. When I downloaded whatever version they call it, the song after the last song, it's there's this one called "Bad Believer," and I actually like that song. So I do like some of the songs. I wish there was just sort of like a cutoff. I wish they would do it so it's like almost you can do like. I know they don't do discs anymore, but make it like a second disc.
Yeah, sure.
A second
heading,
so you know where it is.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because otherwise, I'm like, oh, this is like an 18-song album.
Okay, yeah, and I want to listen to that.
I'm not against that.
Yeah, I feel like I need to listen to those. It was just I hadn't. I will say one thing with this before we get into track by track. I primarily listen to the vinyl of this because we have it. And I like it. And it's great because it's a single vinyl. It's a 40-minute record. It's a single vinyl. But in doing more research for this, I listened to it in headphones. And, dude, I have a good record player, but shit, man. It's just not the same. I'm sorry. It's just not the same no matter how good your record player is. Man, did it sound phenomenal in headphones. Well, unbelievable.
We haven't heard Forrest's record player yet, and actually, to be honest, he hasn't either. So, sorry, buddy.
Sit on back order?
No, dude. But, he's got to get his plugs. His speakers the same.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're gonna figure it out, Forrest.
Yeah,
I know you like. He likes his cameo.
A lot of times, if you just get out a hammer and just start,
I hear that really works. You just got to jam the cable in there.
Yeah, you're just not getting contact.
Yeah.
Anyway,
contact. All right. Track number 1, my friend. Track number 1. We're gonna go with Rattlesnake. And dude, it's really cool, man. It's a great way to start an album. And
yeah.
I've heard this song because every time I listen to it, I'm just like, I put the first song on, and I'll get like halfway through, and then I'll go do something, and then I went to go like listen back to it. And I'm like, I'll just start from the beginning. And so like Rattlesnake is just like ingrained into my brain.
I know
it's so good, man. It's so
dude,
different.
Just that bouncing synth. Oh man, it's so good. And I love how it just, like a lot of songs, I mean, it's a common tactic to kind of start at what you think is an operating level, and then everything just kind of like fucking blows out from there. And when this blows out, the synth really comes in. Yeah, it's definitely.
Well, she said this song is basically about an experience she had walking in the desert, and she described it as a commune with nature.
Yeah.
And I think she was, she even says like follow the power lines back from the road. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I wonder what drugs she was taking.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because I mean, it's like we always talk about Jim Morrison.
Survey says
gonna go to peyote and go get lost in the desert. And
yeah,
it sounds like a hell of a time. Just know your way out and don't go in the summer because it gets really hot out there.
Well, yeah, and dude, and I guess actually seeing a rattlesnake too, that would scare the piss out of me. Yeah, I think they do a good job too with some sort of, and I don't know if it's from a synth or something, but they do a good job simulating the rattle in the song, which I think
in
is
a very
nice touch.
digitized sort of, yeah. But dude, also I'll say in this song, I felt like, and you're a Nintendo Super Mario fan. In the background, I felt like I heard like almost all these little Super Mario sounds, like jumping and doing stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's the only way I could really describe it. Like, sounds like Super Mario Brothers in the background.
It's funny when you hear just any noise that could be related to a video game. That's immediately, I think, everyone's go-to. Sounds like Super Mario. I mean, you just got a coin.
One up.
Yeah,
or a mushroom.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe she was on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, let's go in reverse. Let's get born. Birth in Reverse, track number 2. This was the lead single. And
was it really?
There's a music video for it. I did watch the music video, and it's. I didn't really think there was anything special. Did you see the video?
No, I didn't. I should have.
It was very effects driven, and from I guess the few videos I've seen, like she's in it, she's lip syncing, then it cuts to her, she's like playing guitar, but in different spaces. The quality of it's really good. It's shot very well. It's an alright video. I wasn't like, oh my god, it wasn't like Michel Gondry. Like, how did they do that? But it was good, man. So yeah, that's what I got on the video.
I've always, and I've talked to other people too. I remember when I was playing in the Tims on the way to band practice, I was talking about this album with Eric Schumann, and he specifically brought up the line, which I really love, and it's "Take out the garbage, masturbate." Like, just an ordinary day, take out the garbage, masturbate. It's just kind of a funny line.
It's a Tuesday.
And so Birth in Reverse, is that death? Or is that
you're just going back into the womb?
Yeah,
bake a little longer. Yeah,
kind of like how they said there were claw marks on the
Buster.
Yeah,
on the
Buster.
uterus.
Yeah,
after 11 months. I mean, it's, but dude, this song has a real sort of mechanical sound. There's a lot of grittiness, which again I really like. When there's fuzz and kind of grittiness to a song, and almost to this whole album. But the one thing I noticed she kind of does, in at least that I found in a lot of these songs, is there's a lot of choppiness. Like you'll hear songs or sounds or parts, and they just kind of come in and they go away, and they come in and they go away. I just felt like there was a lot of sort of choppiness, and that's not a criticism. That's just something I noticed she kind of did as far as like placing the instrumentation in some of her songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. No, I think that's fair. And and again, I think this one, I didn't talk about it too much because I had mentioned the how awesome the solo sounds in Rattlesnake, but there's a very similar guitar sound in this, and that's one of the things I like that just kind of carries out for the most part throughout the album, and it's a nice kind of bridge between things.
Oh, a bridge too far. Prince Johnny, track numero 3. This one, it's very different than the first two. It's much slower, right?
I know.
And the way she sings it has just this like sort of like a heavenly feel, angelic, maybe angelic, if that's how.
Well, that's because I think you got the 8-voice Mellotron choir. Now, it doesn't specifically cite that somebody played the Mellotron, and that's why I don't know if they use maybe one of the there's many like digitalized versions where they use the actual sample. But I mean, think about that choir sound and think to like Radiohead exit music for a film. It's that sound, it's that Mellotron choir sound that's behind it, and I think that's a really distinct sound. And a lot of people use it, but I think the choir is especially really haunting, and it works well with this song. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about that I thought was interesting when I was listening to Masseduction, the album, there is a song on that album called, I believe it is, Happy New Year, Johnny. And Happy Birthday, Johnny, sorry. But based on based on the lyrics to that song and the lyrics to this song, Prince Johnny, I feel like they're about the same guy, and I don't know what her connection is. But in that song, it's kind of less about like recounting a specific event, like it feels like this one is. Like It sounded like it was just one of those nights where they stayed up all night and got super fucked up and talked about all this shit, kind of.
Yeah.
But in this next one, in Happy Birthday, Johnny, it's weird. It's like she recounts certain times they spent together, and then it's like she doesn't know where he is, and she's like, good luck out there, wherever you are. I don't know. It's interesting. I just like the idea of this character coming back.
Totally.
You know?
Dude, speaking of Johnny, did you ever see that Keanu Reeves movie, Johnny Mnemonic?
I didn't. Is it good?
I saw it when it first came out. I think I only saw it that one time, and then I didn't see it anymore. And then, I mean, at this point, Keanu Reeves is basically, John Wick or Neo or Johnny Utah from Point Break. Yeah. I can keep going, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, still Patrick Swayze's best role is Bodhi, but it's fine. Dude, the line in this song that stands out, though, dude, remember the time we went and snorted that piece of the Berlin Wall you extorted? Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out.
Is that some sort of analogy or symbol? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, they were like, no, like we really snorted part of the Berlin Wall.
Was it? Yeah. Did you? Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
That must have hurt.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it would have felt like, but
dude. Also, track number 4. Every time I looked at Huey Newton, I just kept thinking of Huey Lewis.
I know.
In the news, like it was like Huey. Yeah. Anyways,
but actually, that is not who Huey Newton was. As I look at Huey Percy Newton. Was a African-American revolutionary most known for co-founding the Black Panther Party with Bobby Seale. So I don't know if it was actually about him, but it'd be interesting if it was, and the name seems fairly specific. I've never heard the name of anyone else.
Yeah. No, wow. That's interesting, man. That's interesting.
Yeah. But I like how this song, it starts out a little, I think it's nice because it kind of comes in, it's a little more upbeat, say, than Prince Johnny. And then they kind of get into that part with the synths where I love how they like pull because they got the glide on. They're like, they all kind of jump in like that. And then it just gets like heavy and awesome at the end.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great transition. This is basically like 2 songs in one, right? Like it just gets so heavy and like really nasty and fuzzy. I really like how that completely contradicts like the first part of the song.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too because it sets up thematically like going into Digital Witness because it talks about something like being enslaved by the zeros and ones.
Oh, dude.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, let's just get into Digital Witness because that's always fun to talk about.
Oh, see this. Okay, so this song, I like this song, but to me, it's very reminiscent of the sound that she had on the Love This Giant album with David Byrne because there's lots of these kind of bouncing horns and stuff. And
now, did he have anything to do with this song? Because didn't he do? There was something he did on this album, wasn't there? Or am I?
don't think so.
Okay, yeah.
Other than maybe just his influence, because I mean, you want to talk about someone who's just an awesome person in music,
and probably in life.
Yeah. He's written some books. Seems like an interesting guy.
So if anybody's out there needs a good read, check it out.
Yeah,
search him. The line that really stood out to me in this song is this idea where we've become very dependent on other people, a million digitalized validating our experience. That's not a line from the song. That's what she said about the song.
Yeah.
And to me, that's all about when you think about social media and likes and comments. and validating our experience. It's like, hey, I'm gonna post out in the world that I'm where I am, what I'm doing, what I'm eating, and all this stuff. And gosh, like I want people to see it, and then I want people to like it and comment on it, right? Because then if they do that, that's going to validate that what I'm doing is really important. It's really cool, and other people wish that they could be doing it too.
I know. So I know it's
like,
such a great premise for a song, and dude, people turn the TV on, it looks just like a window. I just and I like it because she follows it up with that in the song. She's like, I like the yaz and the inflection on the yaz.
Yeah.
What's the point of even sleeping?
What's the point, Ventura?
Yeah.
Only this. Should we move on to track 6?
Yeah.
I Prefer Your Love. So what I read in. Again, I don't know this. The song is actually about her mother who was briefly ill. Now, I don't know if she was just like briefly ill, like, she got sick, or she was briefly ill and then passed on, like it happened quickly. I don't know. So if anyone knows, please let us know below. But again, this song is very sad and melancholy. So I might think that it is, the latter. Maybe she did pass on. But she sings it very beautifully. I really like the way she sings this, and it is cool. Just overall in this whole album, she's able to sing very differently on a variety of songs, and the song is kind of, she goes in a different avenue as opposed to like Rattlesnake and some of the other songs that she's singing on.
Yeah, and I thought I read that she said something about like she did the vocals like in the first take or something like that.
Yeah, what song was that?
I thought it was for
I think it's I thought I made notes. No, it's my note.
It could be.
Yeah. If it's in my notes, I'll find it. But
okay.
Yeah, there was one song, where she was, it was really heavy for her. And damn. Well, I'll see if I can find it in my notes.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I Prefer Your Love. So I Prefer Your Love to Jesus. I mean, that's
a controversial title.
It is, and I don't know if, again, I don't know what her religion is or if she is religious.
Something tells me no. I don't know if you've seen.
Have you seen the cover of this though? Isn't she like wearing a cross? What's on the cover?
Yeah, no, it's that's just part of like the stylistic writing for her name. But yeah, if I look at some of like what she wears when she's on tour, which is just absolutely stunning, it doesn't strike me as a real Christian right kind of a get up, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no,
it's awesome in every way, but yeah.
Hey, I mean, she's God's creature.
Yeah, true.
Show the world. But yeah, I mean, this song is it stays pretty consistent. It's nice. It's smooth. It has some, I guess, light, simple transitions, but for the most part, it seems to pretty much just stay consistent. And again, like she sings it very, very nicely.
Mm-hmm. Now, regret, dude.
Never had it, never want it.
One of, I'm going to say top 3 on this album for me. Easy. Probably number 2, because there's that chord change that I just really like where she says, all of us.
Yeah.
I think it's an awesome chord change.
Awesome, baby. Well, this song definitely picks it up back from from where we were. It's kind of, again, it's got those like nasty kind of choppy guitars that I have kind of referenced, and it's she can go from this sort of nasty or fuzzy kind of choppy sound, and then she
it gets really smooth.
It'll transition right into something smooth, and I love it when artists are able to kind of make those transitions, and it just makes things cool again. I think even there's not a lot of acoustic guitar that I hear on this album, but I
that's
believe
one part.
She
those
goes
strums,
into that smooth transition. Yeah, the strums, right?
I'm glad you know. Yeah, I was gonna say that too, because that may be the only time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other than that, if it's there, it's way back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe on the verse part of Psychopath, but anyways.
Okay. Track 8, Bring Me Your Loves.
Yeah, this is really, I feel like this is kind of an abrasive start.
Yeah, I mean, it's got that like a kind of electronic. I mean, say, oh, it's got the electronic start. Yeah, no, but it does have like this electric start to it, and it's kind of pulsating and has like a choppy, static feeling, right? Mm-hmm. I'm curious, and I feel like, and this isn't in a bad way, I feel like this is one of the most sort of strangest, song on the album.
Sure.
Like
I can see that.
But I also feel like it kind of encapsulates sort of what the album is, sort of as a whole. Like I just think
I could see that.
This buzzing transformer a little bit, or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, at the end, there's this kind of sort of riff that's like na 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 na. I can't do it right now, dude. It reminds me. You want to know who it reminds me of?
Yes.
Do you know it?
No.
Okay, dude. I Like Dirt by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Just you know how that song starts. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
There's this little part at the end where I'm just like, oh my gosh, it sounds like I Like Dirt.
That's really funny. I hadn't thought of that when I listened to it, but yeah, that's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Psychopath.
Which ironically, the title, it doesn't sound like the title. It's just one of the more, I don't want to say subdued, but it's calmer than some of the other ones.
Yeah, well, the way she sings it is for the most part is very straightforward.
Yeah,
which on this album is a little different from her. She's either she's got that angelic heavenly voice, or she's singing maybe a little grittier, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas this is a little more straightforward.
And I do like the verse section. Like I said, I think you may also I didn't write notes, but if you did hear any other acoustic guitar, I think it'd be in the verse part of that.
Okay.
Or the choruses, rather.
Listen for that.
Yep. Now other top 3, I guess that would round out my top 3. But dude, Every Tear Disappears is awesome. I love that little synth loop that she uses. It's great, and I do like too the drums are really pleasing to listen to because they have this echo, but it cuts off, and they're like panned in stereo. The snare drum is like panned in stereo, and it's just it's incorrect as to how the instrument sounds, but it's very pleasing at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, this is one of those songs that another one I think like maybe not similar to it, but I think what I was saying, like Bring Me Your Loves, like this song is very unique. There's a lot of strange noises and sounds kind of going on in the background. This to me is
I hear that
stands out as
and then they go into like
unique.
Almost that like weird like circus-ish kind of, I don't want to say circus, but you know what I mean, that part that's kind of like a strange lull before it picks back up.
Dude,
but it still rounds out my top 3.
Sometimes the apparatus must be unearthed.
Dude.
Yeah.
Take the Veil.
Take the Veil.
Yep.
Okay. Final track number 11. Severed Crossed. Is it Fingers?
Yeah, Fingers.
Okay, because I must have auto-corrected it. Autocorrect said Figures, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's Fingers.
Yeah, which is a weird visual, by the way. Just like your cross, just.
Yeah. So this is the song she sang in one take.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Yeah, in the interview, she's like, I sang it in one fucking take, cried my eyes out, and the song was done.
Wow, I think you could. That makes sense when you like listen to it and the words and how she's singing it. I mean, it is a very. I could imagine it would not be an easy one to do.
Yeah, well, that's what actually the way she sings it, her tonality and inflection, it reminds me of another song sung by a female artist, and I can't really put my finger on it. I want to say it's like from the 60s, and I was thinking it might be a Joan Baez song. I know I have it in my head, and I literally can't pull it out. I have no idea.
You know, when you first said it, I thought you were going to make another I Like Dirt reference, but
I mean, it's close.
Yeah. It's right on time.
It's right.
So, dude, in Severed Cross Fingers, I was glad that they actually gave credit to the real harpsichord, because whether it was real or fake, I mean, it's definitely a harpsichord, but it's nice when it's real.
Derek, for real.
Yeah,
I agree. It is. It is. It really is. So, where shall we go from here, Grim?
Well, first I want to ask you, do you have a favorite song and why?
I did. Where which one was it? I'm looking. What's the one where? Oh, I think it's Huey Newton. Yeah, it's Huey Newton. Just because I love that transition, man. That does it for me.
Yeah, great.
In the way they contradict each other. Yeah. So if that's one you're going to scratch, I'm already going to.
No, dude. God, I'm not a total
in this game.
Dipshit.
In this game.
True.
Yeah.
I gave you my top 3. If I had to, I'd still have to say Rattlesnake would be number 1 if I had to choose just one for a favorite.
I do like that a lot.
I just can't get off of how hot that synth sounds, and I like the very end of it where it's just the synth and the drums. I wish they carried that on for another minute or so.
1 minute.
So sometimes I just scroll back.
You like unscratch it basically.
Yeah, dude, I do. I go out of my way to unscratch it.
Or it's like a good scratch where it's like it scratches and it jumps backwards, right?
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, that's okay. Right. I'll take that one. Yeah.
So that could be a partial scratch, actually. I mean, it kind of could.
No. We can't do positive scratches.
Okay, yeah. It's not that kind of show. We're negative. These are the songs that are just the worst. Everyone hates them. No one should
scratch
listen to
your
them.
Face off.
Yeah. Thanks, Reddit commenter who says that every time.
Said that. Okay, so, are you on the T? Am I on the T? I don't know.
Fuck, who's to say? I don't know. What did we do last? We did Brothers last. Doesn't really matter.
Okay.
If you want to go, or I can go.
Oh, dude, I swear I've been going back and forth on this one a lot.
Okay.
A lot. First, I was thinking it was I Prefer Your Love, but it's not that one.
That's the one I was going to pick for you.
You know what? I would have thought so too. But then I think I got to go with Bring Me Your Loves, even though there's a lot of parts of it I like.
The I Like Dirt part.
Yeah, the I Like Dirt part is really sweet, but dude, just if the album went from Regret, which is probably number 2, right into Psychopath, I guess I wouldn't miss it as much as some of the other ones.
Okay.
Not that I don't like it, but it's abrasive enough where if I had to scratch one, and not the good scratch, that's the one.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm going to go with the one I thought you were going to go with, I Prefer Your Love.
Okay.
Now, I will say, once I kind of did more research and I learned what it was about, and really, I think started listening I was like, okay, fine. It's just one of those songs that every time it kind of came on, I was just like, I don't want to listen. I just don't want to listen to this one.
I see your point, because if you were to jump from Digital Witness right into Regret, that also would not suck.
No, it would be the worst thing. I feel like it's important for albums to have ebbs and flows where you do slow things down and everything. So I appreciate that it does that, but I also don't really need it. And, I think maybe it would, hard to say this about an album that won a Grammy and,
sure.
So many people named it as album of the year. And it needs, you need to tighten it up. But, if they did that, man, tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah. Tighten up on that bass.
Tighten up on that bass, boy. Yeah. All right, well, now this one is officially scratched, and hopefully you guys can comment below. Let us know what you would scratch. Let us know your favorite songs on the album, and also let us know what your thoughts on our other albums are. In the new one that's, well, I guess by the time you're watching this, has now been out for about 5 or 6 days. Let us know what you think of that, and check out our episode where we give our first impressions, and you give us your first impressions.
Please.
Your initial first impressions. So
we are frantically trying to reach you, dude.
Yes,
I think it's urgently, but okay.
All right.
On that note,
are we out, Grim?
I think we're out.
Time to go. Dude Grim Show.
Scratch the Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by More. That's ... MORE and the Tims, TIMNZ. Copyright 2020.
Media, of course, the thing that is occupying the foreground is nostalgia.